Hello and welcome to the Top Order podcast. It's the Cricket World Cup. It's day 15. It's India versus Bangladesh. We'll have all that coming up right after this. Raj, Virat Kohli. He bats, he bowls, he can count to 100. He's pretty good, isn't he?
He is. There's nothing better than waking up to someone scoring a blistering century. And when it's Virat Kohli, I reckon Virat Kohli in free flight is the best show in the cricketing world right now. I'm not sure how much of the innings you saw. We'll just focus on his batting for now rather than his bowling talents. As soon as he sort of played that on drive, on the ground, out of the middle, off the free hit, I was like, we're about to see something special here. And he delivered. He completely timed that chase beautifully. There's something I want to talk about in terms of KL Rahul backing off to allow him to score the 100, and the Bangladeshis trying to throw the ball down the leg side to finish the game on a wide. But he was it was a masterclass from him. Very, very well done.
You mentioned it there. Why don't we get into it? Because I think, the dominance, I guess, of India's win, and we'll come back to the start of the game because they did, every game we sort of talk about how there's some wobbles for each side, and there was some wobbles for India for some nervy moments at the start of that game. But, yeah, the dominance of India's win, the big talking point is now Virat Kohli was on 81 with 19 to go, and he managed to perfectly time and get his 100. My point of view is that's fine. Isn't that fine? They were winning the game. Why not? I actually don't care. Like, if these guys want to get 100s, good on them. He deserved that. He played an awesome innings. What's the problem?
Yeah, look, I mean, I don't have a massive problem on it. I'm not going to go and, fall on a hill based on this argument. But, I think that you just need to play. The game at the end of the day is a team game. Individual milestones come second for me. He scored 47 other hundreds. Adding one more, I'm not sure is going to add to his legacy. This probably won't matter for so much here, but obviously run rate is going to be a big deciding factor for the World Cup in general. Maybe not so much for India, but I think they should have probably just been going towards the end to finish that off strong.
Fair enough. So let's go back to the start of the game. Bangladesh batting first, made a very cautious start. A few first 5 overs. I think they were only on 10. It's been an approach from a few different teams. We talked yesterday, me and Baldy, about how New Zealand have sort of balanced that approach where they go hard or they just try and maintain wickets in that first 10 overs and build that platform. Bangladesh did that quite nicely. India's Siraj and Bumrah started off really well, but then they sort of got through that and started to pick up some momentum. 90 for none after the first 14 overs. And then it all just sort of fell apart for Bangladesh, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of teams, we've seen throughout this World Cup against in all the sort of fixtures that we've seen have started really well and have executed really well through that first 10 15 overs, and Bangladesh did the same here. They came out, they were respectful to the good balls and put away the bad ones. You can't ask for more than that as a middle order, lower order, that your openers go out there and do a really good job. I was particularly impressed with Tanzid Hasan. I haven't seen much of him, and he just looked in complete control until he got bamboozled by the spin there. What did you make of the change to the spin bowling and how that impacted the game?
Oh, it was huge, wasn't it? I mean, yeah, you mentioned Tanzid. He sort of reminded me of Rachin actually a little bit when he was playing those shots through the offside and sort of he hit a 6 over. Or hit a 4 over mid off, and then hit a 6 over over mid off as well. Yeah, kind of that free flowing. Maybe it's just the left-handed, and maybe new young player left-handed, but yeah, really free flowing through that offside. And very impressed with him. He played a nice innings in one of the warm-up games as well, and they've kind of stuck with him. I know obviously a bit of controversy around Tamim not being there for Bangladesh, but yeah, I mean, you sort of saw that. They started getting it stuck into Thakur in his first over. Hardik Pandya's injury, goes off the field, and you're sort of thinking, okay, time for the spinners, and Kuldeep came on, and when he came on, it was quite clear that Bangladesh they didn't want to let him settle. They were going at him. They didn't manage to get a boundary in that first over, but they were trying to hit boundaries. They were trying to play different shots, and yeah, they go to drinks there at 90 for none, and you think, okay, maybe Bangladesh can put up a score here and challenge, but yeah, Ravi Jadeja, Kuldeep Yadav. I mean, we've been big upping the New Zealand spin attack throughout this tournament, with throwing Rachin and Glenn Phillips in there, sort of a bit of tongue in cheek, but Kuldeep and Ravi Jadeja, the way they're able to, I think, bounce off each other is really nicely. Kuldeep's obviously a bit more attacking, but Ravi Jadeja, it's just so difficult to get away when he's on song and then starts to spin the ball as well. And yeah, when he picked up wickets, it started to chip away at that Bangladesh innings really quickly and then made it hard for them to accelerate.
It definitely felt like through that middle stages would have been a great platform for the likes of Shakib and Mushfiqur Rahman. Shakib obviously injured and left out of the side for this game. I'm unsure why Mushfiqur Rahim was batting at 7. I haven't read as to why that was, but
bizarre.
It seems like a bit of a missed opportunity because when we talked about Bangladesh in the preview, one of their sort of big criticisms during the Asia Cup was that they struggled to start innings. They struggled to build a platform at the start of the innings, but they actually architected a really good start. If the middle order had stood up, or they had the players with the ilk of Mushfiqur Rahim or Shakib al Hasan coming in, at that fall of the second wicket, this could have been a very different story if they had wickets going into the 30th over with a platform.
Absolutely, and I think I think we probably should highlight a lot of India's positives. I mean, we've talked a lot about middle orders. It's Baldy's favourite topic. Middle orders, failing in this World Cup, and you're spot on that Bangladesh, did it again. They had the platform there to go, and it just didn't work out for them. A couple of things I wanted to highlight from India's performance with the ball was one was their fielding. Couple of really, really good catches. KL Rahul down the leg side. Ravi Jadeja again, sort of in the action. You sort of can't keep him out of it. He dives away and takes a good one at point. I saw when they were showing in the New Zealand game the day before, the catching efficiency and India right up the top there. Rohit Sharma talked about after the game. He talked about how they're giving personal awards in their dressing room for best fielders and all the MVP sort of fielding stuff. It's been a real feature of what India's done so far in this World Cup, and it's been very impressive from my point of view.
Yeah, that take by KL Rahul down the leg side was an important one for the way the match was sort of balanced at the time. It was a great catch down the leg side. I'm surprised. We should ask Binksy about it. I'm sure he would have been very excited about it, especially when there is a bit of debate around who should be playing in that wicket-keeping role for India at the moment. So he did a great job catching down the leg side. When we have talked about India before, one of the weaknesses, I won't use the word major, one of the weaknesses that India have is Shardul Thakur's role within the Indian setup there, and with the Hardik Pandya injury there, which we'll come back to, he actually stood up and was counted when he needed to be with the ball.
Yeah, look, he did a good job, and I said he got targeted in that first over, and he actually, it could have gone. At that point, it looked like it could have gone south for him. It started to get on. Bangladesh starting to get on top, but it's sort of always you bowl the first over, and if it goes for some, that second over is the key one, because if that then goes for another 10 or something, then that bowler is right on the back foot there. The captain's going, okay, you got to take him off. But Shardul came back, bowled a nice over, and then Kuldeep gets the wicket, and suddenly you can keep him going there and all of that kind of stuff. And I don't know, it'll be interesting to see what happens. Hardik's injury, we mentioned it a little bit before. He's someone that he's not irreplaceable in this Indian side. I think a lot of people actually will say that. I don't personally think it's that drastic because they do have quite a few options, but he's someone that is a genuine all-rounder, and if he's not there, then they're going to have to think about what they do. And I do wonder if it means that they might go with more specialists batting and bowling, and maybe Shardul misses out in that scenario. So yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, I think he will have a massive impact just on the balance of India's side. if he doesn't play, they have to either bat Shardul at 7 or have an extra batsman in the side, and that throws things off. And if they have that extra batsman, then you've obviously only got 5 bowlers to bowl 10 overs there, and it gets a little bit. If someone starts to go, you just run out of options as a captain. Or maybe now that Virat Kohli's come back to the bowling crease, he'll be an option for Rohit. But yeah, it just having the balance of Hardik Pandya in the side, being able to, I'm going to use the word carry, but I don't think that's fair to Shardul Thakur, but to be able to carry Shardul Thakur, to be able to bat at 8 and bowl whatever's required is a massive advantage for the Indians. Australia have a similar issue, right, with Cummins maybe having to bat at 7 in some lineups or some strategies that they play is actually a weakness for them. So he is a big deal for India. I don't think it looks too serious. He landed on the back of on his ankle or underneath his bum there, but he looked like he was going forward rather than down. So hopefully he will be okay for the next game against New Zealand on Sunday or the one after.
Yeah, Rohit said after the game that he didn't think it was too serious. So yeah, who knows how long that means he might be out for, or if he's out at all. I do think that potentially in a way against New Zealand in particular, I think New Zealand would look at that bowling attack and definitely they'd be targeting Thakur and Hardik as kind of the fifth bowler that we can sort of attack. That's New Zealand's MO has always been, let's look for where we can exploit things and try and get the most off them. And the Hardik's injury, in a way, with the way that this batting lineup is going, maybe they decide, okay, well, we'll replace Hardik with a specialist batter and we'll go with, Sky or Ishan Kishan or whoever, and we'll replace, to offset that, we replace Shardul Thakur with Mohammad Shami or, Ashwin or whoever they want to, based on pitch conditions, and go with 5 specialist bowlers. And then you've got no weakness in your bowlers. And I think you back all of those 5 bowlers to bowl really well. So who knows, that might all play out. But yeah, as you mentioned, how good was it to see Virat at the bowling crease? And I mean, we've talked a lot about crowds in this World Cup and sort of at various points about how disappointing they've been and the lack of atmosphere. But the way that they erupted when Virat, came to the crease was really, really cool.
No, it got the crowd into the game, definitely, with that massive crowd pop with Virat Kohli coming to the crease. I'm not sure it's something that we'll see a lot of going forward as part of his career and his legacy in our Hall of Fames. But it was good to see. It's actually been really good to see the crowd numbers tick up after the first couple of weeks or week and a half.
Yeah. I guess we should talk about India's batting now. That's where things, I guess, probably get exciting for India, from an Indian fan point of view, but also from a neutral point of view, it almost became a bit of a procession. It was quite clear that 250 odd wasn't going to be enough. Rohit Sharma blasts the second ball straight through the covers, flashes the 5th ball through point for 4. Shubman Gill hits his first ball for 4. That Indian batting lineup, they're just looking amazing at the moment and got off to another great start in this game.
Yeah, it is kind of frightening how much form they seem to be in all across that top 5 in particular. Even you've got KL Rahul coming out and playing sort of cameo 30-40s in the last few games. Looks immense as well with the bat. You have no doubt that even if Virat Kohli did not go ahead and score that 100, the likes of Jadeja would have come in and finished it off, no issues. So, everyone looks in form. Sharma, Gill, Kohli, Iyer, Rahul. I don't know where the weakness is in that batting lineup, but hopefully New Zealand can find it.
Yeah, look, I've got some numbers on those guys because, I had the exact same thought about, they've all just made such great starts to this tournament. So Rohit, Duck, then he goes 131, 86, 48. Shubman Gill's only just back, but obviously started with a 16 and got 50 today. Shreyas Iyer, it feels like he's not contributed a lot, but after that 0 against Australia, he's gone 25 not out, 53 not out, and only gets 19 today. And then Virat, 85, 55, 16, 103 not out. He's 260 almost from 4 games, averaging 130. And then you mentioned KL Rahul. He hasn't even been dismissed. He's got 97 not out, 19 not out, 34 not out, 150 runs, and hasn't even been dismissed. So people keep going. I sort of saw some stuff on what are India going to do when they're 3 down for spit or 4 down for spit. Well, we saw that against Australia. They were 3 down for nothing, and it worked out completely fine. But how do you get them 4 down for nothing? Like, it doesn't seem like that's a real option at the moment.
Yeah, I genuinely don't know what you're going to do to combat this Indian side. I'd actually forgotten about that 97 from KL Rahul, because there's just been so many scores in that Indian side. Look, I don't have an answer for you, Stu. I'm sorry. Even when they were 3 for pretty much none, they were able to pull that out of the fire. I actually think the way to beat this Indian side is to make them set a score. They, over the recent years, have just been tremendous in chasing, and I feel like this team, this batting lineup, the way they are going, could chase any score that's put in front of them. So getting them to set a score, squeezing them, and then chasing it down, I think, is the way to go. But I can't think of a weakness for them at the moment.
The stats will back you up there too. I did some numbers. So India's 4 games so far. They've batted second, chasing all 4 of them. Won by 6 wickets with 50 balls in hand, 8 wickets with 90 balls in hand, 7 wickets with 117 balls in hand, and today 7 wickets with 51 balls in hand. So it's just been a complete procession for them. And, I think we talked a bit about how New Zealand have played sides that we expected them to beat, aside from England on paper. India's had it a bit tougher playing a couple of teams where, Pakistan and Australia, who, have had their mixed moments in this World Cup, but are sides that people expected to be there at the business end and big games. So, we were worried. I guess maybe not worried is the right word, but wondered how India would go at home and with a bit of pressure and all those fans behind them, and would they be behind them or would they be on top of them, as Sachin Tendulkar put very well in the first game. And so far it seems like they're right behind them, and it's pushing them towards real success. And it leaves us with some exciting games. We mentioned yesterday, some exciting games in this World Cup to come. Australia, Pakistan tonight, England, South Africa on Saturday, and then New Zealand, India later on, I think on the Sunday in Dharamshala. So, a couple of big days ahead that might have some big implications for the rest of this semi-final chase.
Yeah, the playoff picture will become a little clearer. It'll still be quite blurry, probably by Sunday, after these 2 next big matches. It's an interesting one because, you're looking forward, thinking about what results, where do you want to finish, but at the end of the day, you're tossing up, you don't want to play India, but do you actually want to play England, Australia, South Africa, or Pakistan in a knockout match either? So I think it's less important. It's more important that you make the semis rather than where you finish in that top 4, who you're playing against, because they're all going to be tough matches.
Yeah, and I actually think you said it could be blurry. I think the way that it's blurry is if Australia beats Pakistan and if England beats South Africa, and suddenly all those teams have got 2 wins. If Pakistan can beat Australia and South Africa beats England, those 2 teams are it's going to be a really, really hard road back for them. England's obviously going to bring back Ben Stokes from the sounds of things. Australia's found a bit of form in the last game, but Sri Lanka's a side that's been struggling. So, I think massive, massive games, particularly for those 2 sides. Pakistan and South Africa will still have time to come back. But those 2 teams in particular, it's almost must-win territory, I think, for them.
Especially because they have to play each other. That's going to be an incredible match. Yeah, let's hope that they both lose, so it's better viewing for us. That'd be great for the viewers of this podcast, having England versus Australia in a sort of a knockout match during the round robin of this tournament. But massive games. It's going to be blurry because there has been so many results sort of not go the way we expected or have been expected. But look, it's still up for grabs. There's still definitely 6 teams that are fighting for a playoff spot.
Awesome. Did we talk enough about how good India was? Did we mention Virat Kohli enough? Anything else you want to add before we finish this up and let people enjoy the rest of their day?
No, I think India were just dominant today. We've talked about in other games, just outclassing teams in all three facets of the game. India did that today. They were incredible in the field, incredible with the ball, and incredible with the bat. So yeah, another tick in the box for them, and they move forward.
Can't put it any better than that, Raj. It's been great joining you this morning. Listeners, it's been great chatting through another game of the Cricket World Cup. We'll be back again tomorrow. Remember, if you're enjoying the show, remember to give us a like and a subscribe. It does really make a big difference on how we get our content out there and things. So it'd be a real help for us if you could go ahead and do that right now. I think the button's right in your bottom corner, or if you're on the podcasts, you can go and do that quite easily. So we thank you very much for listening once again, and we'll see you all again tomorrow.